Hello, welcome today to part 2 of a video series demonstrating how to use a blended approach using mini cut and tooth saver files to get down really difficult curved or calcified canals. This video, part 2, is going to show you a clinical case of how to use the protocol. And one thing that I mentioned at the first part about all the different files that you can use is that you'll notice that on some canals, on some spaces, you'll see that I only use a couple of files, and in other really difficult cases we're going to use the whole range of files. Okay, so traditionally, let's just talk about the pre-op radiograph, and you can see here that the tooth in question is an upright 6. The tooth has been accessed by a previous dentist, and the tooth is suffering from irreversible pulpitis / necrosis, and notwithstanding that the upper right 7 behind it is not in the best of shape, looks like there's probably 2 files fractured in that, but there's no symptoms from that tooth. The patient's well aware of it and they're happy to leave it alone. So the first thing I'm obviously going to do is I'm going to just shore up this tooth. I'm going to remove all of the temporary filling material and just want to check to see, if we need to do any kind of restorative work with this tooth. Does it need further, sort of fillings or whatever? And I'm just going to remove the cotton wool here and then use an ultrasonic just to clean up the cavity all nice. And this is just going to remove all the sort of large debris coming from the cavity. And we can see here that the roof of the pulp chamber is still intact, and possibly there is a little bit of decay there in the mesial aspect. Now, what I don't want to do is I don't want to remove that composite filling, although you might think I'm a bit lazy, but it's just time. I'm just going to remove a little bit of the decay and see if it all needs to be removed itself, and you can see now that it's all sorted. So I'm going to remove the pulpal roof just with a fast handpiece. You can do this sometimes with an ultrasonic, but in this case it hasn't been removed. And then I'm going to go straight for the palatal, and I'm going to use this mini cut blackjack orifice opener and give it a good old clean out. And as expected with the palatal, it's nice and wide and open, so we're going to go straight for the mini cut 1503. And don't forget, this endodontic motor is connected to our apex locator, so I know when it's reaching the end. Okay, so it's cutting to the palatal really nicely. The integrated apex locator on the motor is suggesting we're close to 0, so I'm going to pull it out and we're going to use a size 15 K file just to gain the working length. So just nice little watch winding movements until we get the working length, and we can see that it's 22 millimeters. That's the palatal canal. We're then going to go back in with the 1503 mini cut, and then we're going to shape this to 0, because we kind of knew that it was at 0 or close to 0 with the integrated apex locator, but now we know it's 22. We're going to shape it to 0, and then rather than following the flow chart perfectly in this case, I'm going to adapt the file system to the clinical situation, and I know that palatal's pretty wide, so I don't need to, in this case, move over to 2003. I can kind of skip that and go straight for the 2503, and as suspected, this 2503 just goes really nice to length. It's all about making this procedure efficient and quick for the patients, and obviously got more time to irrigate. And then finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to recapitulate the palatal canal with the size 15K file. I can feel just ever so slightly a tiny little bit of a ledge, or where the portal of exit has been pushed out to the side, so I want to make sure that that hand file is making sure that that portal of exit is still open. So the palatal's done, and now we're ready for the DB. Again, same protocol. We're going to use the blackjack mini cut, and you can see now that the blackjack really opens up this orifice. And when you're irrigating, you want to make sure you're irrigating both canals. And then same protocol, we're going to go in with the 1503. And what you'll notice now with the 1503 is it does advance, and because I haven't set the rubber stopper, what I'm using as area of reference is just these little marked graduations on there, and you'll notice that it isn't quite getting past that first graduation. So what I don't want to do is don't want to push it at this point. If the 1503 is not advancing, we're going in with the tooth saver 1403, and again you'll notice it's going a little bit further, but you'll notice those like little graduations you can see on the shank of the file. Again, it's getting stuck at kind of the sort of third point. So as the flow chart suggests, is that if you can't get down with the 1503 or the 1403, we're going to try and get down with our hand files and try and if we can kind of sort of get down to the zero reading. And when we connect the hand file up to the apex locator, you'll notice that we can't quite get to zero. So it's at this point what I want to do is I'm going to adjust the rubber stopper, and this indicates how far we've got with the file. And then obviously when we pull it out, we're gonna measure that, and it measures about 20.5 millimeters, maybe 20 millimeters. I'm going to take the 1803 and I'm going to just make sure I measure with the rubber stopper to sort of about 20 millimeters, and this gives me like a little bit of a mark just to aim off to see if I'm actually reaching past this point. And again, with the specific protocol here, we're going to leave it off. We are going to place the 1803 to length, and then we are going to press the button, and then we're going to use that reciprocation mode and then sweep it out. And then following the flowchart, we're going to go in with our 2003, same protocol, same reciprocation movement. I'm going to obviously measure the stopper as like a little bit of a guide for me. We're going to push it in off. We're going to push it as far as we can get, press the button, reciprocate, and sweep out. And the patented reciprocation mode that we're suggested to use in this case is clockwise at 400, counterclockwise at 50, torque 4, and the RPM is 400. And it's really, really important that you don't push these too far. You just want to push these files in, press the button, and then sweep out. And you'll notice we're getting a little bit further, and then we're going to go back in with our size 10 K file just to see if we can get any further on this working length. And we've got to 0, and then we measure it at 21. So we weren't far off. And you'll notice that sometimes is that it's, you know, you feel like you're getting nowhere with the apex locator. Even just the slightest movement apically, you get to 0. And then we're going to go back to our flowchart again. We're going to go back in with the 1403. We're going to shape that to 0. We're going to go back in with the mini cut 1503. We're going to shape that to 0. And then we're going to obviously just use lots and lots of irrigation. This time I feel like I can't step up to the 2503. I'm going to go with the 2003 in this case. I'm going to shape that 0.5 millimeters away from the 0 reading, and then our final shaping file is going to be the 2503. And again, you know, the RPM on this is quite fast. Relatively, it's about 700 to 900, but we know that we've these cut really, really efficiently, and they're super safe. And then again, lots and lots of irrigation, and then we're going to recapitulate with our size 10K file. Make sure that that portal of exit, that apex is clear of debris, and it's ready for obturation at a later date. And then to avoid the risk of repeating myself, we're going to shape the MB in this similar fashion. Luckily with the MB similar to the palatal, we use the blackjack, we use the 1503, that went straight to length, lovely. In this case, we use a 2003, and then the 2503 is a final shaping file. So we're really, really, really motoring along here. You know I like to motor along. Our next step is that we've shaped all 3 canals, and we're going to now think to ourselves, is there an MB2? And in fact, when we remove the pulpal roof, you know, I could spy the MB2 straight away. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop my size 10K file in this, and then I'm just going to try and just watch wind all the way to the end. And sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it's getting a little bit stuck. Again, I'm just going to measure on the rubber stop to see how far I've got. In this case, I've got to about 16 millimeters. This gives me a bit of an aid memoir to know where I am. I'm just going to check them blackjack here because I'm just a bit worried. I don't want to just push past that 16 millimeter point. And another great thing about these blackjacks is they're brilliant for MB2 negotiation. So we've opened up the coronal third of this MB2, and then we're going to try and get a little bit further with this size 10K file. You'll notice here that we've probably reached I think it's 2 millimeters extra. So we've got 2 millimeters extra of length with this size 10K file just by opening up the coronal third. And it's at this point where I'm thinking to myself, why is the MB2 not advancing? Is it because of it's quite sclerosed or calcified, or is it because it joins with the MB1? So just to check confluence, what we're going to do here is we're going to just place our matched cone into the MB1 at length. And then we're going to just obviously use a size 10K file to try and see if we excise that down the MB2, that marks the GP point, and that shows if it's joined or not. And as we pull the GP point out, there's no obvious mark on this GP point. So it's likely that the MB2 and the MB1 have got their own portals of exit. So that's pretty much confirmed this. So this is great. This is more information for shaping. So we're going to go back in with our specific protocol. I'm going to use the 1503 to try to see if that will reach the apex. Again, the motor's connected. It doesn't advance like we'd like to. So I'm now going to pick up my size 8 D finder, and I am just sort of using a kind of watch winding motion to see if I can get down this canal, and it transpires that it isn't quite advancing like we like to. Obviously, when we're not getting the zero reading our apex locator, we pull this out. It's got a little bit further now, 1 millimeter to 18. So the size 8 D finder isn't reaching the end. So we're going to go back to our protocol. We're going to get out the 1802. We're going to measure the 1802 to about 18 millimeters so we know where we are, and then we're going to place the 1802 tooth saber file off into the canal space as far as it can go, press the button, reciprocate, and sweep out, and repeat. Back in with the 2003. Again, it's all about protocol. Make sure you're following this fully. You're not going to push this down. It's not going as far as the 1802, this 2003, but it is advancing much better. And then we recheck with our size 8 D finder, and we'll notice here we're now at 0. What you need to understand is some would argue a size 8 D finder is too small to gain an accurate working length, and I probably agree with you. But with using the 1403 and then back in with the 1503 and then using the 2003 files, all these have been set to the length that the D finder found the working length at, and obviously the motor is connected. The integrated apex locator within the motor is reaching this point and confirming that the zero reading is the correct the value given by the size 8 D finder. And because the MB2 was so sclerosed, so calcified, I'm going to stop at the 2003 mini cut, and I'm going to obturate at that point, and now I'm ready for our cone fit radiograph. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure these cones before I put them in, push them to length, and then just feel for a little bit of tug back, and then take the radiograph, and the radiograph looks pretty good. There's an argument to say that the palatal looks short. Again, ad nauseum, lots and lots of my videos explain this situation. Sometimes when it looks a little bit short, we go back in with our apex locator just to measure that we are at the portal of exit. And again, if you take a lot of teeth out and you inspect the ends, you'll notice that the portal of exit or the apex isn't actually often at the radiographic apex. So although the cone fit radiograph looks short on this x-ray, I am confident that this is the end of the tooth. And obviously what you don't want to do is you don't want to shape the tooth too far, because what will happen is you will go out the end. And let me just bring you back to a different case just to demonstrate this. This is of a lower incisor. On the x-ray we've got the obturation looks like it's to length. However, this was a failure. This was a referral into me. We took a CBCT, and you can see here that the tooth has been perforated in the apical third, and obviously it looks like on the 2D image that it's to length. So just be really mindful here of just relying on 2D imaging only to check your working lengths. Once we've confirmed the cones are at the right length, we're going to use our final irrigating protocol. Again, sodium hypochlorite activated, 17% EDTA activated, back in with our sodium hypochlorite activators, and then we're ready to do our obturation. Here I'm using this Style Italiano GP disinfecting wheel. This is fantastic. It also helps you organize cones as well into the correct you know, into the correct canal, because you can see here there's like DB, MB on the side, because obviously if you've got loads and loads of cones, it can sometimes be a bit confusing. And then we are ready to obturate, and again I'm using one fill here. You know, I'm not being too worried about how much one fill I'm going to place here, because I know that the cones are to length and they're fitting snugly at the apex, and we're just going to push it down. One of the really great things about using these really narrow cones is you don't really suffer from vapor lock with this with the sealer. And what I mean by vapor lock is if you've got a really fat cone and you're trying to fit it to length, sometimes the sealer can't escape and it kind of bobs up and down. So you know, just be mindful that if you're using very narrow tapered cones, that you're going to need to use you know, an adequate amount of sealer. And then when we look at the x-ray, it looks absolutely beautiful. Okay, you know, again, there's always that worry that the palatal is short, but again, as I'd mentioned before, I'm happy that this was at the 0 reading. You know, the DB is unusually long, and obviously it sort of bends over distally, so I'm really happy that we've managed to shape that successfully, and I think the protocol we use today has really helped that dramatically. And then you can see the minimal preps that we've got on the MB2 and the MB1, and obviously minimal prep means less dentin removal and arguably, you know, a stronger tooth over the long term. And that's it. Stay tuned, I've got another case using this protocol, so we've got a part 3. And if you like the content, please subscribe, please like. And I think what's the most important thing about this channel is debate and education. So the whole point of the channel is to educate people. And if you think you would have done differently, if you think this case has been completely wrong, please comment in the section below. Let's spark a debate. Let's have a discussion. I don't have all the answers. That's something that I've all been very clear about with my channels, is that I'm not perfect. So let's have a really good discussion about things. And again, if you want to take it a step further, we've got a membership program. It's a fantastic membership program on YouTube. And obviously being a member, it supports the channel, but it also keeps me independent, okay? All of my opinions are my own. And it also gives you early access to content, usually a few weeks ahead. So if you just can't get enough of my videos, well, you can have early access to that. And if you're a certain tier of membership, if you ask a question in the comment section below, I will reply to you with a video short. And that's it. Have a lovely day, happy endoing, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.